We talk it out, no time to waste. Ooh, yeah. Face to face, we set the pace. Hey, hey. Love so strong, no need to race. We hold it tight in every space, making it last. Oh, making it last. Yeah, yeah. Through the future, through the past. Building it high, keeping it fast. Communication, making it last. Making it last. Oh, making it last. Yeah, yeah. Through the future, through the past. Building it high, keeping it fast. Communication, making it last.
It's time for another conversation. Welcome to Making It Last podcast, where it's all about helping us to have better relationships, not just with ourselves, but with other people. I'm Noreen Daly, and with me this time around is Scarlet Ibis James. Welcome.
Thank you. I am so happy. Um, and I think I'm going to be blessed to be here.
Okay,
I'm calling it.
beautiful, beautiful. So she's an author and she's a speaker, and she's ideal to speak about this topic that we're going to unpack for a bit, which is using storytelling to process trauma, family dynamics, and personal transformation. So before we unpack, just set a context for the conversation. Storytelling meaning what?
Meaning for me, writing a fiction
Okay.
or perhaps fictionalized versions of what we've experienced in
Hmm.
order to convey the feelings, the emotions, and the experiences, channeling ancestors,
Okay.
and then really putting it out, Noreen, into the universe, with no strings attached. Because when it reaches who needs to hear it,
Mm-hmm.
they process it in ways that you never even imagined.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's the writing and the channeling, the flow
Mm-hmm.
that comes through when you're really connecting with the spirit.
Okay. Why fiction though?
It's safer.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Um,
Okay.
I'm nothing if not honest.
Okay. Okay.
It is safer. And I think for me,
Uh-huh.
fiction chose me. So I didn't set out to evaluate my trauma. I didn't know that I was traumatized.
Okay.
I did not. I think that when you put the idea that you want to be healed into the universe, it
Mm-hmm.
delivers to you in ways that you never expected.
Mm.
And so I would come up with ideas, things, especially when you're prompted by
Mm-hmm.
other readers and other writers
Mm-hmm.
to write a story about and fill in the blank. What always came up for me were things related to my own experiences. A lot of my
Ah,
writing,
okay. Okay.
right?
Okay.
And in order, we're from the Caribbean, you don't put your business out. So
Mm.
in order to be able to evaluate those things and bring those stories out, you change certain things.
Mm.
You
Mm.
you make almost a Frankenstein of what the experience was and pulling from different places. And what comes out is really a beautiful thing at the end because
Okay.
it's based on real people and experiences, but perhaps chunks of those. So it's almost like creation.
Okay, okay. So I noticed, well, based on your profile that I saw, you specifically said trauma, family dynamics, and personal transformation. It could have been so many other things. Why
Yes,
those three things, and how is it then that is from, because you mentioned the trauma just now, but is it
yes,
that those other two, it has happened for you, why that is your focus?
absolutely. Absolutely. So I am 50 something. And the
50
thing is,
something, okay. Mm-hmm.
50 something. I stopped
Mm-hmm.
counting after a while.
Okay.
But
Mm-hmm.
for me, what rose up, and again, well, let me tell you what rose up.
Mm-hmm.
The question, the prompt that was given to me was, and this was the prompt, yellow. That was it. Yellow.
Oh, okay.
And what came up for me, Noreen, was a little girl in a yellow dress meeting her father for the first time. And I wrote it because my father, I grew up in Trinidad and Tobago. My father lived in the United States my whole life.
Hmm.
And um, so the story that came up is not actually based on reality because I did see my father. He was there when I was born and all these things, but adult me, 50 something year old me,
Mm-hmm.
really never met him in a way
Ah,
that,
okay.
I was telling my sister who grew up with him, I said, I never had a conversation with him, like never, because I grew up with my grandparents who took very good care of me. I was not, I had a wonderful childhood. I just want to say that. I had a
Mm-hmm.
wonderful childhood. I left Trinidad when I was 21. And my grandmother raised me and my grandparents raised me with love and everything. But there was always this missing piece of not being chosen to be with him,
Mm. Okay.
right? But I
Okay.
didn't know it until I wrote my second book, Scarlet Birthright. And it started with that very first story, which was just 50 words. 50 words. And I realized there's something there that's missing that I never addressed.
Mm.
And so for
Mm.
me, it's the abandonment, the that I never really had the words to express, that I felt abandoned, that I felt not chosen, and the whole family dynamics of how you navigate that
Mm-hmm.
situation,
Mm-hmm.
especially with siblings,
Mm-hmm.
to and really with siblings feeling that they perhaps, and so all of it came out of this one act and how I
Mm.
interpreted it. And I also talk about healing because when you start actually facing and thinking about and leaning into these things, I believe, at least my experience has been, forgiveness came. Because for the first time, I realized that all the expectations that I had put on this man,
Mm.
and this man, when he had me, was 19. 19 years old. And I think about my son who's now 21 and oh my God, like would be it how could I have expected? But again, I was a child,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know and
Mm-hmm.
I held on to so many beliefs. I've heard something in the past where the ideas that you have at 7 persist. And
Hmm.
and unless you actively try to unravel that and really say, is that truth? Is that true, what I believed? Then you go on thinking that, and you may not even realize how it's affecting your whole life,
Wow.
um,
Wow.
in positive and negative ways. Because in
Mm-hmm.
truth, the whole experience that I had would not have brought me to this place where I am today. So it couldn't have been any other way.
For somebody who will listen and watch this and they will say, but I'm not a writer. What
Oh,
advice would you say to them to say, I want to try this to see if it will help me to, deal with maybe some lingering issues that I have or continue to have? What would be your advice to them?
two things. Number one, express that thought. Just recognize that you want to deal with it.
Okay.
Recognize it. I think that the idea of putting things out into the universe, it
Mm,
delivers what you ask for. And for me, I think it has been writing. I also realized, Noreen, that I have a lot of really good friends,
mm,
and I didn't know until they read the beta version of my book that they had the same experiences. We never talked about it ever. So I would
mm,
say but then the book gave us an opportunity to say, actually, this was my experience. actually, I experienced this, but in a different way, but similar, you know, and a lot of things came up for me. So I think finding a trusted person,
Mhm.
whether it be a significant other or a friend that you can talk to, is one way. I always, I always encourage people, especially people who look like us, to seek therapy
Mhm.
if that is something that you can afford and that's afforded to you. A good therapist who understands those types of dynamics, I
Mhm.
think, to help you work through that is really important. And then also journaling. It's fantastic. Just start writing. There's um there's a
Mhm.
practice where just start writing and you would be surprised the things that may come out. Just start thinking about it and writing.
True.
Journaling is important. And then there are
True.
guided journals that folks may find that they can tune into
Mhm.
is a different way. Um, and and perhaps the last thing is um be okay with if it doesn't come. It's not like a silver bullet.
Right. Right.
Um, it's not a panacea. There's not going to be a quick fix. It's a journey.
Mhm.
And it may take a short time or a longer time. It may never get there. It may definitely not look the same as mine, but I think that just putting out the wish into the world
Mhm.
that if this is blocking me, unblock it for me.
Wow.
We talk it out, no time to waste. Ooh, yeah. Face to face, we set the pace. Hey, hey. Love so strong, no need to race.
Especially as Caribbean people, we shun away from just sharing and being open. This is what we're packing in this conversation, but we must take a break and get a word from our partners. We'll be right back.
It is said that he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing, but when you also find a good MC, it makes her a better wedding. But as a smart man, I'd love for my wife to endorse this move.
We really did enjoy our wedding, the entire ceremony, but we especially enjoyed our reception, not only because we were our own family and friends, but because our MC made it so intimate, so special for everyone. So it wasn't just about us, it was about the coming together of everyone, and that's what we wanted for our wedding.
And I am not so mushy, but I felt the emotions on that day. I felt as if my mother was doing the hosting. And you know what I love the most or appreciate the most is the fact that she was calm under pressure. When I was uncertain, she was calm, collective,
Reassuring.
and reassuring.
Yes.
And I felt like I was in the hands of a good pilot.
So all in all, we did enjoy our day, and we would recommend Miss Daly to anybody for their ceremony, their reception, whatever function, really. But for our wedding day, having her there was very special.
If you have a ceremony to host, the choice is Noreen Daly. If you have sense, then you know it's Noreen Daly because it makes sense.
From logos to flyers, business cards to invitations, J Designs is your one-stop shop for all things design related. Fast, affordable, creative, and one of a kind? Follow us on Instagram at JDesigns. Email us at jdesigns.graphics@gmail.com or WhatsApp us at 876-280-2816 and let J Designs make your creative dreams come to life.
What does a new you look like? It begins with intention, with choosing growth over fear and truth over comfort. But growth requires protection. In a world that profits from noise, peace becomes an act of resistance. Clarity doesn't come from more information. It comes from knowing what to let go, from choosing focus in a distracted world. And when clarity settles in, something powerful happens. You remember your voice, not the one shaped by fear, but the one rooted in truth. The one that speaks, creates, challenges, and refuses to disappear. This is what we believe in, that voices matter, that stories matter, and that independent thought is the foundation of freedom. This is more than media. This is a movement. This message is brought to you by the Daily Communicator, NoreenDaily.com, and NSound Media, NSoundMedia.com.
Let's continue the conversation.
We talk it out, no time to waste. Face to face, we set the pace. Love so strong, no need to race.
And be ready to accept what comes. Yeah.
Do you think this, though, using this technique, so to speak, of storytelling, is this gender specific?
No,
Okay.
no,
Okay,
ma'am.
that no came very strong. Why?
Yes.
Why?
Oh, I feel like it's twos. Today's the number is two.
Okay.
Um, I wrote a story, and I have a lot of different people read my work before I put it out. Um, could be alpha readers, beta readers. Alpha readers is the real raw,
Okay.
really not edited.
Mhm.
Beta readers, it might have been edited a little bit, but they get a thing. And one person reacted to my story because they said they said that when they started, because I write from both a man and a woman's point of view in many
Okay.
of my stories. I try to give all the angles of the
Okay.
thought of
Okay.
the situation. But
Mhm.
I wrote the story and she said, "Oh my God, I didn't know it was a man. Men don't speak like that." And which I thought was just so interesting.
Interesting.
But
Mhm.
I also have a strong cohort of Black men who write. So I'm a part of this group organization called the Fellowship of the Griot.
Mhm.
It's a global organization, and there are many brilliant men who write and write passionately and write, especially men, Noreen. There's so much that they're not allowed to express,
Mhm. Mhm.
that if they are able to, through poetry,
Mhm.
through storytelling, lean into that, and you don't have to be perfect English, you don't have, letting that go and letting it flow through your work is so powerful. So the two things I would say is number one, that don't be caught up in the like that woman, like men
Mhm.
don't, I had men read it and I said, do, and he said, absolutely. That was absolutely
Mhm.
yes, you captured it. And I think that don't get caught up in the idea that men cannot be expressive. They absolutely can. They just have to find their own way of being so. Yeah. But it's
Er,
absolutely powerful. Sorry.
no,
Sorry
that's
about that.
fine. Earlier you said that as Caribbean people, and I just think that's right across, we've been socialized to say, keep your business, in your own space, in your own yard. Do you think that has worked against us rather than for us for the most part? And if so,
Absolutely.
how then can we change that? We're not saying that people must, blab the biz, but at least maybe if more people were more open and sharing what's happening, maybe a lot of the relationship challenges that we continue to have wouldn't happen.
Absolutely. I think that so people ask me because in my book I do talk a lot about family things that
Okay.
have happened. And actually, I was in Trinidad and Tobago earlier last year, and I did a book event, and somebody asked me about that because they've
Okay.
written a book,
Mm-hmm.
but they're afraid of what will happen. And I told them, I said, well, the first person that I have read my book is always my sister.
Ah, okay.
And I have my sister read it because a lot of the things in there, even though I fictionalize it, so it's not actually 100%, you know, based, it's not a memoir,
Mm-hmm.
but she could read it and know exactly what I'm talking about. And there's some things that refer to her as that person, that sister in the family. And so I encourage them to have whoever it is read it first.
Ah,
And I
okay.
said, and if And I said to them, if my sister had had challenges with some of the things, then it opens up a discussion for it. Yeah. I think for me, Noreen, this whole thing of secrecy and not knowing is so prevalent in my family history, that yes, if people knew earlier, I'll give you a real example. One of my family members was in the hospital, and I went down to Trinidad because she was in the hospital, and I asked her husband, I asked her mother, like, why is she in the hospital? What is it? Nobody knew. They would go visit her. They will go visit her. They will take stuff. They will, but nobody asked, and she didn't tell. And I'm like,
Wow.
so I immediately, when I went to visit her, I said, like, what is it? What is it? And she said, and at that time she said it was cancer, you know, and it was colon cancer, which is just a devastating,
Mhm.
but knowing, and it was advanced, and she had had it for years and sought all kinds of treatments, but her family had no idea. And so they were
Wow.
not prepared.
For that. Mhm.
And then after a while, there's nothing that the hospital can do. You come home and
Mhm.
devastating. And I think that you can't change it. So it may not change the things, but I think just opening up sometimes will help. Now, on the other hand, um, I'm very open to other people's stories as well, too, yeah?
Mhm.
And there was this Asian movie, I don't remember the name of it, unfortunately, but it was one where the grandmother had cancer, actually, and nobody in the family wanted to tell her. Um, even the doctors in China, they wouldn't tell you.
Mhm.
When you'll tell somebody else in the
Mhm.
family. And what they did is they they used a cousin getting married to bring everybody back to China to see her before she died because the hospital had basically said there's nothing they can do.
Mhm.
But the
Mhm.
family refused to tell her. And I remember the granddaughter dealing with this and going like, "Oh my God, like what do you mean?" Like and like I was thinking like tell so you can prepare
Right.
and they said, "No, no, 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 no." They said, it's a very selfish thing to tell her.
Mhm.
She needs to know that they love her and just and the thing was, and even the doctor, because she spoke with the doctor, like, "Well, how could you not tell?" She says, "This is
Mhm.
our way. It's a community to take care of the person. It's not." And so I'm open to that too, that maybe it doesn't, maybe it needed to have everybody taking care of her. So I'm open to being wrong too. Let me put it like that. I
Okay.
believe that sharing is important, um, but I'm open to be wrong as well.
Okay. As
Yeah.
we're wrapping up the conversation, what would you want my listeners and my viewers, if of all of you said they're saying, I understand what you're saying, I'm not a writer, but I think I want to try this. What would be the one piece and last bit of advice you'd want to say, hey, if you got nothing else from the conversation, here's my parting words for you.
I would say go after what is calling to your heart. You know what that is. You've got Google. You want to write, you don't know how to start. Google, how do I start writing? Wherever you are. What other groups? You have, there is no better time. I know it's a hard time in the world right now,
Mhm.
but there is no better time to get what you need. The one thing is lean into what your heart is telling you because it won't stop
Mm, love that.
until
Love
you
that.
answer the call.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. This was Making It Last podcast. It was all about helping us to have better relationships, not just with ourselves, but with other people. I'm Mary Daly. Until next time.
We talk it out, no time to waste. Face to face, we set the pace. Hey, hey. Love so strong, no need to race. We hold it tight in every space, making it last. Oh, making it last. Yeah, yeah. Through the future, through the past. Building it high, keeping it fast. Communication, making it last. Making it last. Oh, making it last. Yeah, yeah. Through the future, through the past. Building it high, keeping it fast. Communication, making it last.